things really took off really quickly. Like we had released a single, Indecisive. Very existentialist name.
Love it.
I think we're 13 or 14. It's still somewhere on the internet. And with Peter Borg at the time, we had recorded it with Peter.
Oh, wow,
At that
okay.
time, he was like opening his studio and stuff, you know. And a lot of people try to mold you into something.
Yep, that you're not.
Exactly. At 13, 14, you don't really know what's happening. You're just, you know, one day you were playing with your friends in a garage. The next day you're on stage at the Bay Music Awards with like
Crazy.
10-inch stiletto heels, because that's what we thought, you know, being
They
a
wanted
woman.
to see, yeah.
Or it's
Definitely.
I mean, with, for example, Rosalia's latest album, I don't know if you guys...
Yeah.
You know, music that's not in the English language is obviously blowing up.
Welcome back to the last ones. Today we are here with Janelle. Janelle is a musical artist who's currently based in the UK but is originally Maltese. We brought her back for a special little featured episode. She's also a guitarist with her current band Jen, which we're going to speak quite a bit about as well today. She's also a writer within the music industry and so much more, which we're obviously going to explore today at this table with me and Luke. And yeah, let's hit it, the last ones.
Okay, so like obviously you do quite a bit of things now with like the writing and music and all. Like, I guess, where did it begin? Because I know Funky mentioned something about like a band in secondary, but I don't know, maybe before that too, went in the church choir. I don't know, like where did your interest start, sort of thing?
I think everyone starts from the church choir.
No, that was a random
Honestly,
guess. It's
I
really
did
not the
start
guess.
from the church choir.
So you actually
funnily
started
enough.
from the Maltese churches?
Yeah. So
Hell yes.
I started playing the violin at around age, I don't know, I think I was like 6 years old.
Wow.
And then immediately I was like, yeah, I started playing with the church choir, like most people in Malta do, I guess. So that was my first like professional gig, literally, because I was like, after a few lessons, I told my mom like I wanted to play in the church choir, and I did.
You knew what you wanted and you got it.
Yeah, I hustled and I got the gig. And I stayed there for a couple of years actually. And funnily enough, it really taught me to play by ear, because there was no like notation or sheet music or anything, so I had to pick things up.
So
Jesus will guide you at that point, you know.
The first time you showed up, they gave you like nothing.
No.
They didn't tell you from before, like, go listen to this on YouTube. I don't know.
No, dude, it's
It was a jam out in the church.
Literally. And I was actually playing with really good musicians. So imagine this 6-year-old kid trying to keep up with like, yeah.
Well,
Crazy.
they believe in God, though. So probably they're like, oh, yeah, Messina, she'll pick
Jesus
it up.
will lead the
and
way, you
it
know?
will work,
Yeah, I
know.
bless them, to be fair. Like, they really pushed me in a way, because there was a point where I was even like with an orchestra and stuff. So literally this 6-year-old kid, yeah, I don't know.
So
You
that's
got
where
a lot of pollinating ideas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Definitely. And that's where it kind of birthed that love
Yeah.
for music.
And we did a lot of like, I don't know, Latin stuff, I guess, and like classical music stuff. So I had to pick things up by ear, I guess, and just go with it. Fake it till you make it, literally.
Exactly.
And that's been the theme throughout my life so far. Basically, just hustle your way through, hope shit works, essentially.
Which I think is very true for a lot of artists nowadays.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
there's
you
no
have to.
plan, there's no master plan. You just go and you do it. So then that obviously led to you being in school, and then you went to secondary and you started a band. Can you tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
Yeah, so we had an English project. I think we were like 13 years old at the time. And yeah, it was like a new set of kids, I guess. And we weren't really like super close. But then essentially, yeah, there was an English project. and the teacher wanted us to interpret The Highwayman. I don't know if you guys remember it, but anyway. And yeah, we came up with this idea of doing like a band, I guess, of some sort. So it was a bunch of kids who started playing together, essentially. And that thing eventually like developed into Cryptic Street, which was the first kind of band we, I guess, co-founded with Leona, who I'm still, she's still by my side after all these years.
Amazing.
And there was Denise, who we're still really good friends with, Julian, amazing person, Chiara as well. And we just decided to start a band.
At 13 years old.
Yeah, and I had never played guitar. And I'm like, I'm going to be the guitarist. So my uncle had shown me a couple of chords on like my dad's really old acoustic. And I don't know. Again.
Just picked it up. So you taught
till
yourself?
You make it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I had the violin thing going, obviously.
Fair.
So I was still playing in church at that time.
Sorry.
And I was also playing the school thingy, like church thingy. But the nuns, because we were in a nun school, they didn't really like the band thing, so
damn.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, because I never played much of either. I know I don't know why I'm saying that. There's never really like between guitar and violin. Like, is one harder? Like, is it if you learn one before the other, will it be easier to switch? Because I guess for me, I just imagine violin. It's like, how complicated, Was it easier to go from violin, knowing violin, to learning guitar than the other way around?
Yeah, I think so, because obviously, like with guitar, you have the marks on the fretboard, whereas with the violin, you kind of have to, you kind of have to learn where the notes are.
Okay.
So I guess it makes things a bit easier, but I don't know. I didn't really think about it, honestly.
Well, sorry to sidetrack, because before you were saying like with the nuns like not liking the band.
Yeah,
quite
God.
Interesting.
So the nuns really didn't like the band, and then this band like with Cryptic Street, I guess I don't know. It things really took off really quickly. Like we had released a single, Indecisive, very existentialist name.
Love it.
I think we're 13 or 14. It's still somewhere on the internet. And with Peter Borg at the time, we had recorded it with Peter. At that time, he was like opening his studio and stuff. So he was very young as well. We were all very young. And we released the single and it was all over the place, man. Like it blew up literally. And it was a bit weird because everyone thought we were older than we were. And being, not to turn it into this type of conversation, but anyway, it's important to mention, being 13-year-old girls with a lot of older men in the industry, you learn a lot.
Definitely.
In different ways.
Yeah, and you also, I think, need to make sure that you're not going to be taken advantage of, even when it's just strictly music-wise. People see, their song blew up. They're 13-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Let's, take advantage of that. Let's get them to sign off on something. Let's get them to sign off all the way their rights. Not get any, not that you or artists in general get good payments from streaming usually, but it's very easy for someone to kind of go and take that opportunity to really take any advantage away from you guys and into their own pockets,
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a bit of a thing in terms of like people in the industry in Malta. I think they thought we were older or we acted older because when you're in that scene, you kind of have to grow up really quickly.
Yeah.
And we even won an award at that time when there was the Bay Music Awards. We won the best newcomer within the first year. So
That's
looking
insane.
back, it was a bit, I don't know. Yeah, it was a big lesson because a lot of people want to blow up. But when it happens, especially at that age, it was like, these Disney Channel stars that don't know what to do with themselves. And that kind of, in a way caused a lot of issues because we didn't really know our sound at the time. You know, and a lot of people try to mold you into something.
Yep, that you're not.
Exactly. At 13, 14, you don't really know what's happening. You're just, you know, one day you were playing with your friends in a garage. The next day you're on stage at the Bay Music Awards with like
Crazy.
10-inch stiletto heels because that's what we thought, you know, being
They
a
wanted
woman.
to see, yeah.
So, yeah, I think, you know, that era taught us a lot of things about how to deal with the music industry specifically and about sticking to your guns and just, you know, again, I guess the reality of being a woman in the industry as well, which is
100%.
something perhaps not a lot of people in Malta talk about, especially in the rock scene.
Yeah.
So after that, we had a few lineup changes. And, you know, from 13 to 18, you know, people change a lot. So not everyone stayed in the band. And then it turned into more of like a punk / post-punk thing when we were around, I don't know, 18-ish, I guess.
Okay.
We had released an EP with the original lineup minus the bassist, because then Cheyenne had joined. And then, afterwards, a couple of lineup changes. We took it in a more punk direction. Leanne had joined, which is, again, someone else who's still by my side. Bless her. We met at school.
Wow.
At another church school.
Classic.
Obviously, the church.
The church really knows how to bring people together.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, and then I guess when we were like around 18, Cryptic Street was still a thing with Michelle on drums at that time. And we were basically something else that when I look back, I'm like, how did we do it? Why? Like, how? We were, going back and forth from the UK, from Malta to the UK and back.
At 18.
Yeah,
Wow.
18, 19.
So wait, when was the first trip to the UK? When did the UK come into the mix?
So I believe the first gig in the UK was in 2017, something around that time, I believe.
And was that something self-inflicted? Like, did you guys go up looking for a gig, or was it something that somebody approached you and said, yo, listen?
No, like nothing was handed over or anything. We were literally like, okay, we're going to play in the UK. There was also Malta Takes London at that time.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember it, but basically it was this yearly thing, which was actually really good, where like a lot of Maltese artists would play at this venue in London, and it was like a kind of showcase.
Nice.
And then at that time, I was like, if we're doing this, we should find other gigs. You know?
Sure.
And we managed to connect with a couple of people in the industry. The year before, we had gone to Spain because in Madrid there was a really good scene going at the time.
Okay.
So we had also tried going there like a one-way ticket kind of thing, which again, I'm like, how? Like our parents, bless them.
Must have been like, these girls are about to
Like, what are they?
create some chaos.
Basically. I'm like, what? Again, obviously, I mean, that was a lot of fun, a big learning experience, you know. In general, like I look back and I'm like, God, I kind of miss that girl in a way because she had the
balls.
balls to do all this, you know,
Wow.
and just go for it kind of thing. So it's been a journey. My God,
I can imagine. So you were going back and forth between the UK, still as Cryptic Street.
yeah.
And then when did it change? So obviously you had the EP and the album of the band,
Yeah.
right? So can you take us down that route?
Mm-hmm.
What happened when you guys went up to the UK? Did you write your music there and then release it there? Or did you come back down to Malta and record it here?
So we had released the album, which was called Titty Monster.
Titty Monster!
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We had released it, I think 2018, I believe. Yeah. And at that time, there was the whole Brexit thing going on. And again, we were going back and forth.
Holy shit, wait. Brexit was already 20...
Yeah, Brexit has
was
been
so
a thing.
long ago.
Yeah, I mean, no one knew what was going to happen. So I think it got to a point we were going back and forth quite a lot. And we
Yeah.
were like, listen, realistically, if we want to do something,
You gotta move, you gotta dedicate your time,
we
you gotta
either
commit.
have to move. You know, we had just finished uni then, whoever was at uni at the time, ḻENN and I. And we're like, I was definitely like, dude, if we want to do something, we have to leave, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or we have to travel even more. But, you know, there's the financial element because we were all working like a ton of jobs to make stuff happen. Like our parents weren't paying for any of this. Please note, like they weren't paying for anything. So it was really like through our hard work, like we were working multiple jobs. Some of us were going to uni at the same time. Some of us hadn't even started uni, like, you know, so it was like, yeah, we were literally hustling our way through. And then when I set the others down and we're like, if we want to do something, we kind of have to make a move. And at that time, Michelle, the drummer, didn't want to leave, which is, you know, fair enough.
Definitely.
She was younger than us as well, so obviously that played a factor, a part in the decision. And we're like, okay, I forgot something else. Which I tried to erase, I guess. So a few months before this decision, our garage in Birkirkara got robbed. Someone cleaned out all of our equipment.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that, but anyway, it was a whole thing.
So the same Rumpole, right?
Yeah, that
Wow.
shitty building, man.
Yeah, so shitty, man. So shitty. As in, I think now there's a bit more security on it, but unfortunately, it became a place where most of the garages got sold and bands don't even have a place to go anymore.
So at least there was something, you know, back then, but obviously there was zero security. Like literally people got murdered in the building. So it was this whole last thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You know this story, like how to say it, of this like murder I never heard of.
Is this a true crime podcast?
No, I'm sorry. It's just like
So
the fact
if
that
I'm not mistaken, some lawyer got murdered there.
And how did they rob your garage? That's the main thing. Do you
it's
know
a
how?
whole story. It's a whole story. I could write a book about this.
My
Because
God.
then it ended up on the national news.
Does it upset you to dig it up, or can we dig it up?
No, I mean, now
Okay.
everyone's like, whenever I mention it, it's like,
Go.
I mean, I don't know if we were targeted or not.
Okay, or was it like a random,
So thankfully, I had taken the guitar that I had bought when I was 13 with me. I still have to this day.
Amazing.
I had bought. I'm like, yeah, let me take it back home today. But I had left all of the other stuff there. So I'm talking about pedals, the full drum kit, whatever, you know, whatever you can think of was left in this garage.
And mind you, musical equipment is very expensive.
Yeah, and I mean, we're
Very
like
expensive.
really young, man. Like, yeah. So essentially, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, we went in. The garage door was open and there was nothing except like some shoes.
My God.
Even the furniture was missing.
I'm not
Jeez,
sure,
I
honestly.
mean-
No, it was traumatic.
He's saying yes,
Funky
Funky
is
from back there.
fact-checking
He
us,
remembers.
apparently. The
Yeah,
furniture
honestly,
was gone
some
too.
things I think,
Yeah,
you know.
zoned
It's
out.
like a violating feeling. Yeah, it's your own sacred space of creativity you're going. It's like,
and there was a lot
what
of stuff.
went on?
Yeah, no, it was this whole thing because then people were saying that we made it up for publicity.
Oh my God.
Or that, we're women, we're exaggerating. Oh, we're girls, we're exaggerating this. But literally it got
Wow.
cleaned out because I'm like, dude, I'm not going to let this, you know, go
So,
on
of
without.
course.
So I'm like, let's contact the you know, whoever, the newspapers, whatever, let's make this public. And literally there was like a TVM journalist who took this story on and they filmed like the conditions
My God.
that artists and bands were rehearsing in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it became this whole thing. I remember it happened 2 days before my final exam, my uni exam started as well.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, it was my finals, like it was my final year.
That's crazy.
No, it was traumatic. It was traumatic because then it turned out that, so then a year later, I'm fast forwarding a little bit. But a year later, we had moved to the UK. I'll go back to that in a second. But one of our friends saw the stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. A year later.
Exactly. I'm not joking.
They waited a cool-off period.
A year later.
Literally.
But they were a bit stupid because they left some of the stickers there. And all this stuff was like massively publicized. Like, it was a whole ass thing. So, yeah, someone was like, listen, and we had to come back to Malta to play a gig. We had organized like a festival, like a small festival.
Please tell me you got back all that stolen
And then
equipment.
the police, basically, our LeAnne went to report it. And they raided this place, and it turned out it was like some sort of gang.
What?
I'm telling you, no, it was like...
What?
No, it could have been, looking back...
Whoa, is it one of these kid gangs?
No, it was
Like a proper gang.
I don't know if it was like Sicilian mafia related. No, it was something else, man. It was
That's crazy.
something else. Like, we ended up embroiled in this whole thing.
Oh my
And
God.
to a point where even when we went back to the UK, they were calling us to go up and like...
Testify and
yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
No, it was quite a traumatic event, which kind of made us realize, in a way, how like there's a sense of disrespect when it comes to the arts. I won't say in Malta, but in general, we had tried to take a stand and like publicize the whole thing so that because there was that whole thing with some people trying to find spaces for artists and stuff. So in a way, we use that as an opportunity to raise awareness.
Of course, definitely.
The music community really came together, honestly. They helped us out so much.
Amazing.
Like, we had a gig in the UK like 2 weeks after this whole incident. And we were like, we're still gonna do it.
Of course.
And Wayne Camilleri had given me his pedals.
Amazing.
Bless him. Like, literally people, and even like Chris from B Squeeze organized this fundraising festival.
Wow.
No, it was this whole thing, like, come to Jesus moment, as they say.
Yeah, you see
in the
full
US.
circle playing for Jesus in a church,
Exactly.
and then
So-
Jesus saved you.
Bless them, like, they literally came together, man, and yeah, they helped us out. And
Amazing.
That's nice.
I'm eternally grateful for that.
I feel
'cause-
like this community, like the music community especially, there's a lot of this talk that it's very competitive, that people are very, what's the word? People think that the music community is just people out to get each other, where everybody's just rivaling, everybody wants that gig, everybody wants to take your sound, everybody wants to be better than you, to play more gigs, to play, that festival, this festival, headline, this band, whatever. In reality, I feel like when it really matters, the music community is one of the most blessed and open and helpful communities out there. When people are really in need, I feel like music is the only change that the world really has to actually come together and to be together. Music at the end of the day has one purpose. Everybody's just trying to make each other feel something. Whether that's feel anger, feel sadness, feel love, feel, happy, feel excited about something. That is the whole point of music. So when you get these moments in communities where something really happens, like even if a fellow musician passes away, and unfortunately we've had quite a few this year alone, you really see the beauty in music communities coming together and really celebrating a life that was filled with music and love, or even if it wasn't somebody in the music community, but even recently we had one of the Manatapo members pass away, and he wasn't a musician himself, but he was always with Manatapo. He was always lighting up the stage with his dances and his camera, and it was fantastic. And people really came together. The minute that he passed away was something that you can tell people put everything aside, and then they come and they celebrate that life with more music. And that music brings joy because it's what sourced their own joy in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So your story is also a testament to that.
No, 100%. And, it's a pity that I guess it takes these tragedies for people to realize that stuff. Because especially in Malta, the scene is so small, like in general, the music scene in general, that people really need to come together in order to make stuff happen and in order to like, I mean, I wouldn't even say the music industry on its own, even the film industry, the arts industry.
Definitely.
People definitely really need to come
The
together.
the artistic community in general, for sure.
For stuff to happen, honestly, and for people to uplift each other and for things to, to take things to the next level, which is, I don't know, take things internationally and stuff. People really need to come together. Because there's this, like big, bless you.
Thank you.
Big fish in a small pond mentality sometimes. And that can be dangerous because in reality, man, we're a small island. And you don't realize how small and how niche we are until you're not here. And you're like, damn, we're like...
They don't even know about us.
Exactly. You're
existing sometimes.
Yeah. The amount of... questions we get. Where are you from? Where are you really from? It's like every time at the merch table. But where is that? What language do you speak? It's like the FAQ.
Yeah,
but
literally
you realize like how precious what the culture is and like how artists should really, band together in order to do something, because when that happens, it's magical, honestly.
It really
and
is.
You see it even with film, for example, like recently I watched Lutzu and even John Malia's film, and I was literally crying. Like, I really miss one. I was feeling a bit homesick, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, this stuff is really good. Like, people really need to appreciate what we have.
And it doesn't get the recognition that it should just because it comes from a small island.
Exactly. But we don't even acknowledge that ourselves. Like, even I listened to Dune's latest album. I was mind blown.
Wow.
I'm like, this shit is, like, international. It could... If there was someone who, like, understood the industry and who, like, really pushed for stuff to happen, this album is, like... amazing. I messaged them in fact, because when I obsess over something, I'm like, I'm obsessed over something. But yeah, I think we really need to appreciate what we have, man, and the talent that we have and the people that we have.
Definitely.
And yeah, sometimes you don't realize that until it's too late.
Did you find that though when you went to the UK as well? Did you find the same community? Did you find the same feeling of, you know what, if something happens, these people have my back?
I think, obviously, the UK's music industry, it's very competitive.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I mean, I live in Brighton, and you walk down the street and you hit a musician, literally, with a guitar. Literally, it's like...
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're like cockroaches, can't get rid of them.
Everyone's trying to make it, literally. So, I remember, when we made that to pick up where the story that kind of left. When we made the decision, and at that point, Michelle decided to step away, we were like, oh shit, we had organized a tour, a UK tour.
Okay.
And that was like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something crazy like that. And I'm like, dude, we're not going to cancel this. Like, we went through the trouble of booking all of this, And yeah, basically I had gone on these Facebook groups, musicians in whatever city.
Yeah.
And yeah, someone had recommended Sofia. And I had messaged her. And I'm like, listen, I saw that you played drums.
You want to come and play for me?
Literally, that's what I did. And yeah, I don't know how she messaged back, like from this random ass person. And yeah, she was like, yeah, I really like your stuff. Yeah, and we talked a bit. We did a video call because she's British. So yeah, we literally got in touch with her like completely out of the blue.
That's
and
crazy.
For some reason, she accepted. And the first time we played together was on the day of the first gig.
You didn't rehearse before?
We did one rehearsal like a few hours before the show, but that was it. Again, we were young, so you don't really think about this stuff.
Yeah, you're just like, we can do it, man.
People are like when we actually did the show, people were like, oh, how long have you guys been playing together?
One
day.
hour.
1 hour, not even 1 day.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. Wow. And that just stuck, obviously. And you
Yeah.
guys just kind of like, you've
Yeah,
been
we got
running it.
along.
But somewhere between those stories, the name of the band changed
Yeah.
too. Where was that?
So, after this whole thing with the robbery and stuff, the first thing that came up when you searched Cryptic Street was the robbery.
Fuck yeah. You become tied to a story that you don't associate yourself with anymore.
So, and obviously there had been so many lineup changes by that point that, and the style had changed so much that we're like, listen, I think, we have to get rid of the bad juju.
Yeah.
Literally.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
It's time for a new era.
Basically. So, yeah, we went through a couple of names, and I think we went with Jen, and Sophia, I agreed to it as well. Because one, it's short.
It's catchy too,
Yeah,
even
it's
if you're not
catchy.
Maltese, Jen.
It's like, sometimes people say Gen, but then when you explain, it's like the name Jennifer or it's easier to pronounce,
Yeah.
which is important.
And it's staying true to your culture too. Jables,
Sorry,
man.
thank you.
And it's that. And it's also a bit different with the G and the dot.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the UK, in Malta is just another J. But
Yeah.
in the UK, it's something that's like, okay, what's that dot? Does it have a meaning? Is it
Yeah.
symbol? Oh, okay, it's from Malta. What does that mean? And it just it sparks curiosity in people.
Exactly.
And you guys as a band itself, I feel like it represents you because it spark curiosity in the people watching you, whether it's the first time, whether it's because it's a new album, you're constantly keeping people on their toes, which is something I think very, very interesting with Jen, the band.
No, thank you.
No, definitely. And what's been happening now? So obviously you guys had Sophia on board and that obviously went great because you guys you've been blowing up there as well, So what has the process been, living abroad, becoming also known abroad?
I mean, obviously it's very hard, I think not a lot of people speak about the fact that you're away from home, you're missing your family.
Of course.
And friends, you see, life goes on without you kind of thing, with the ups and downs, of it all. So, it's definitely a sacrifice. But obviously, at this point, I don't know, I feel a bit like torn in a way, almost as if I'm in a bit of a liminal position between obviously not being British, so not quite fitting in. And at the same time, when I'm back here, things have changed so much over the past couple of years, especially, that it's like I don't even recognize certain things anymore. Wow. So you're always, it's like part of the migrant experience, if you talk to people, they will all say the same thing. That, you're always in a bit of a, liminal position of not quite fitting in anywhere, which I guess has its own beauty in a way.
Definitely.
Because it forces you to think beyond certain limits and understand people's stories. Because everyone has a story. And I guess, that also impacts the way you create art.
100%. And I feel like that way you also understand that when you're looking at a human being, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know if they're, a migrant who hasn't seen their family in years, or if there's somebody who just entered a new city and is new to a community and who's petrified in having a first conversation or is really eager to make new friends. And I feel like that could also, energize and fuel the music that you're making there. Because once you place an artist in a different environment, you're going to get a different sound. Mm-hmm. It's still their sound, but you're going to get something different for sure. It's not going to be strictly based to what their beliefs and their life has been like in Malta, but you're taking them out of their, dare I say, natural habitats, which is the island because you're Maltese, and then you're placing it in an unknown. Mm-hmm. Everything up there is an unknown, it's out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Has that helped fuel your music? Have you seen a change in the way you guys write ever since you moved to the UK?
You kind of have to step up your game because, as I said, literally everyone is an artist or a musician or trying to make it. So if you don't step up your game, or if you're not of a certain level, you don't get booked.
With this, like everyone trying to, is Brighton I don't know about Brighton. Is it like an arts town? Like, why
Yeah.
is there so many?
Very artistic.
I mean,
place.
there are a lot of music universities and stuff. And there are a lot of like art universities. So that's why everyone's trying to
fair.
make it.
Sounds like a fun place.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it is a very fun. It's
Definitely.
very expensive as well.
Oh no.
Of course.
Classic.
But literally, you're literally in a place where everyone is trying to make it, or is an artist, or is a barista, but they're a musician. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Sounds like California a little.
Yeah.
Like in a British California, I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's a seaside town, so
So like people go there to make it.
basically,
Mm.
like a lot of my friends, of the friends I made, essentially are like people who are trying to get involved in something, you know, or even if they have a more traditional job, I guess they still want to pursue the artistic or the creative side of
course.
that job. So literally everyone is trying to make it in some way, which is inspiring. But at the same
100%.
time, it's like you're always on your toes. You know, you can never like fully relax because you're always trying to keep up, I guess.
Yeah, because the minute that you give a little leeway to somebody else, you know, they could take a great gig that could have, you know, escalated your career. They could book something that you have been waiting to book for months. So it is a very competitive place, and I can imagine that it's obviously motivated you guys for sure, which is great because some good pressure, you know, makes some great diamonds as well sometimes. So it motivates you to really go for it and give everything, give it your best. But then it can also be tiring, I can
course.
imagine. And you know, is there any like harsh realities, you know, like the ones that we're mentioning right now, of an artist, you know, trying to make it abroad that you think maybe isn't spoken up about as often?
I mean, I think a lot of people in Malta especially think that you're going abroad and immediately you're
Like
gonna...
one big holiday.
No, not even that you're gonna get discovered or something, when in reality you still have to work a normal job in order to make ends meet.
Yep.
And yeah, you still have to pay the rent, the bills, like you have to grow up basically.
Yeah.
Like in Malta, obviously, I guess we have a lot of people, I'm not gonna generalize, but a lot of people can maybe live with their parents, you know, and just use
Free
that
rent, free
exactly.
food.
Whereas if you're living abroad, you have to pay for literally everything. So yeah, and it takes years. It takes years to make certain contacts, to infiltrate, to network with people, for them to trust you as well, you know,
Of course.
and to make a name, to build an audience. You have to learn about the business side of things. You have to
About the marketing side of
You have to
things.
learn everything. You have to become a content creator. You have to become a graphic designer. You have to literally do everything, unless
You have
you're
the money
lucky
to
enough,
spend, where you
or
can
you're
hire other
lucky
people.
enough to get picked up immediately.
Yeah.
I know people that like have been lucky enough for like, you know, certain things happen really quickly, but for the large majority, you know, they have to hustle.
Definitely. And where do you think Jen is at the moment? Like, what do you think is happening right now that you can say, okay, we have a lot more to do, or you can say, you know, actually, we have been lucky enough to achieve certain things that maybe we wouldn't have been able to do if we never took that step?
I mean, I think obviously if we never took, I'm very proud that we took that step, even on a personal level.
Yeah.
I think if I didn't make certain decisions then, like, and the big decision was to move away from Malta.
Yeah, there you go. That one's for you, Funky.
Then I wouldn't have done it probably when I was like at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, you don't really think about stuff that much, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
you're a bit more naive. And
Before your frontal lobe closes,
with
you know,
like
you gotta make all
rose,
those
yeah.
decisions.
rose-tinted glasses, you know,
Yeah.
you think I went up with my pink suitcase and guitar.
I'm gonna make it in the world. Hollywood up
Basically.
next.
And then, so, yeah, I think it was a good thing that we did that. But obviously, you know, we want to get to the next level.
What is the next level for you?
I mean, I think ticking off certain venues, for example.
Okay.
Touring on a more international level. Like, for example, a big dream would be, we had an opportunity actually to play in India.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, but we didn't do it because of money at the time.
Fair.
But that's a big dream to like tour internationally and not just the West. I think there's a lot of opportunity in Asia, for example, and even in, you know, the Middle East. Even though we're women, like we get a lot of like positive feedback from people in like the Mediterranean, North Africa, and the Middle East. Which is something that not a lot of people think about, like that's a market, especially Maltese artists can really
100%.
tap into, because it's a big market, especially at the moment.
It's like a good idea too, because
of
like
the language.
Europe is full of its own artists and stuff. Like I think there's more of a void for this kind of thing there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's probably like it's in demand.
Yeah.
You know, reverse of the Brighton situation.
Literally,
kind of,
and
imagine.
for example, I have a band. They're called. I know a band. They're friends of mine. They're called Sira, and they're based. They're from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And it's
nice.
a thing that it's a place that you wouldn't really think of as like a bustling.
Yeah.
But literally, they're investing so much in their art scene and in their band scene. You wouldn't really think about this. They're all women as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yo.
And they literally
Trip to Saudi
sing.
Arabia?
They're so cool. They sing in Arabic. They're like psychedelic rock.
Crazy.
They're so good.
I mean,
love them.
there was this band. I'm not sure where they're from, to be very honest, but they always gave me this very Saudi Arabian and very, you know, desertal vibe. I think they were called Glass Beams. I think Glass Beams was
Okay,
it.
so they're from Australia.
Okay, then never mind. Well, desert still.
I mean, but one of them
but
comes
their
from
vibe
a...
is
Yes,
very,
yeah.
very, you know, like it's not... It doesn't feel Australian. It doesn't feel European. It feels something else. It's
So
kind
one
like,
of them
ooh,
comes from an Indian background, basically.
wow.
Yeah, because
Okay,
I know
that
someone
explains
who
the
met
sound.
them, essentially. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, and they played in India, in fact, at a festival there. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I think that's a really big untapped market, honestly. And I mean, playing the US is obviously a big dream for, I guess, every musician. I don't know, the American dream and stuff. And we did get a couple of requests, but obviously, you know, things take time, money, and everything. But
Definitely.
fingers crossed, you know. But I think, yeah, the next step is definitely playing a bit more internationally. And yeah, continuing to build an audience and stuff. So we'll see.
Amazing. And obviously, as an artist who is also working, you know, full time and who's, you know, just making it out there completely on your own, away from family and friends. You do a lot of things, you know, kind of DIY style, right? So even when it comes to recording or anything like that, when it comes to, you know, tackling the whole DIY versus professional material, how do you balance that out where obviously you still want to make things of quality, but some things, you know, you can't afford, possibly, you know, even when it comes to recording in very high quality in these huge studios or with record labels, etc. Like, how has that journey been for Jen and for you as well?
So in terms of recording facilities, thankfully nowadays everyone can literally be a producer.
Yeah.
So
True.
I mean, and we made quite a lot of friends in the industry. So we've recorded at really good places actually. Like we recently worked with Johnny Hostile. He's a mixing engineer and an amazing. He plays everything basically. I don't know if you remember the band Savages. No. So he was their producer and he now produces for his partner as well. Her name is Jenny Beth. She's playing with Deftones actually and
Amazing.
stuff. And yeah, he was Nick Cave's guitarist at a point as well.
Amazing.
And
wow.
yeah, we literally connected over Instagram, man.
Crazy.
So, he was like, yeah.
What a time to be alive.
I really like your stuff. Yeah, like hit me up if you ever want to collaborate. And we're
Wow.
like, yeah, well, I met him in London. was telling all these crazy stories about, I don't know, Brian Eno and stuff. I'm like, dude, this is like...
Fangirling.
Yeah,
Keep it
literally,
cool.
I was like fangirling. I'm like, yeah, I'm privileged to be in this
Conversation
in your
right
space.
now.
Yeah, but he's been really supportive. So we've been working with him as well a little bit on the mixing side. So I guess you can get a lot of discounts if you make
The right connections.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
And I feel like in Malta, that's one of the most pressing issues within the music industry. Making those connections is very hard because there's only a certain amount of connections you can make. And then once you get those connections and you play those festivals and then you record in those places and then, it becomes very hard to see what's next.
Yeah.
Like you reach your peak and then what happens? And I have this conversation with so many musicians down here where it's, what do I do next? I keep on releasing music, but then what? It gets played on the radio, I play a festival, I post it online, people share it, and then it just fades away and then the next band comes and does the same thing. And then it's kind of like you play gig after gig after gig, but after the fifth gig, people get bored of you because...
Yeah, you can only do so much in terms of the live scene.
Definitely. So that's amazing that you get to be in places where networking has so many different options and it's so diverse,
Yeah. I mean, you also have to make an effort because, if you stay at home and not meet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to put yourself in the places where you can make those connections as well, whether that's online, offline, going to gigs, whatever. But obviously, there's the opportunity there that literally there are like 10 venues down the road from me, So it's up to me to go out and meet people, kind of thing. Same thing with reaching out, London is only an hour and a half away. And a lot of artists, some of the biggest artists live in London. So, yeah, you just have to put yourself in the right place and the right time. You have to do it.
Exactly. It all boils down to you.
Yeah.
And what's next for Jen? So is there any projects that even, things that are maybe currently in the works that you can share with us or things that you kind of want to achieve in 2026 as well?
So, I mean, we're definitely writing more stuff at the moment and we recorded some stuff as well. Album 2 or whatever, an EP is definitely the next step.
Amazing.
So it opens us up again to more touring opportunities and stuff. So, yeah, that's definitely.
So you've been writing away.
We have a song in Maltese.
Nice.
Which is something that, I don't know, came naturally, I guess.
Wow, because assuming since you're based in the UK, you're going to obviously write more English-based songs, but then introducing the UK market to also a foreign language that they might not understand, but they can still feel the music.
Yeah, we've been playing it at shows, and honestly, every time we play it, I feel so emotional because it's like you don't really hear Maltese music played in a rock setting abroad,
Exactly.
So it always hits me really hard, man, and... I became really obsessed with Anna recently.
Amazing.
I don't know, maybe it's another, it's like when you're missing something, I guess you start digging and Maltese traditional music. And again, I think that's why a lot of North African, Middle Eastern and other Mediterranean places relate with our folk music.
Definitely.
Because it's so similar. There's a through line that's you listen to Anna music and it's really similar in certain aspects to flamenco, for example, or Sicilian folk music.
Definitely.
Or Greek folk music. And I'm like, this. Oh.
Even, this is
and Arabic, obviously.
Have you ever heard Arabic disco or Arabic funk? Habibi funk, man.
Oh, yeah.
Habibi funk is something that blew my mind when I discovered it. And I think that's what made me realize that there's a whole market and there's a whole, I never really thought much about Arabic music just because from the internet, or at least the westernized society that we kind of gets our music filtered through. It's all very kind of stereotypical,
exactly.
Just Arabic and like you're saying, very folk music, so you're kind of okay, this isn't really, my thing, right? But there's so much more there. There's so many different genres. There's so many different musicians that are making both English and also Arabic songs. And because we're obviously Maltese, it becomes great that you can actually relate to certain music that isn't even in your own language,
Yeah.
but you can understand what they're saying, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think Turkish music, I don't know if you ever went down the Turkish
Rabbit
music
hole.
I have.
It's like it's becoming international, man. Like, for example, there's I guess the biggest band would be Á'ENN. I
Yep.
don't know if you guys ever heard of them, but they're based in the Netherlands, but some of them are from Turkey or have Turkish ancestry. And all their music is in Turkish. And they're selling out like massive venues in the UK,
Amazing.
Europe, elsewhere. I also went to another Turkish artist's concert in Brighton, actually. Her name is Derya Yildirim. She's based in Germany. And literally, there were a lot of Turkish people, obviously. And yeah, I was like mind blown. And there is another band who are actually friends of ours. Their name is Car Machine. They're amazing, especially if you like psych rock.
Yes.
And basically, they mix Hindustani classical music
Ooh,
with like 70s style psych rock.
that's crazy.
And Jimmy Page recently went to their gig. Yeah, I'm like, why wasn't I there?
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Like, I'm like, dude, yeah.
That's
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
It's
Tell
like,
me the next day to their gig, I'm gonna be there camping out until Jimmy Page shows up again. I swear.
literally. So, yeah, it's like there's this untapped market. Or it's
Definitely.
with, for example, Rosalia's latest album, I don't know if you guys, you know, music that's not in the English language is obviously blowing up.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, music, you can, it's like, I'm not sure if you had ever seen, there was this Italian group that made a song basically made out of gibberish.
Yeah. That was back in the 60s.
Exactly, where they genuinely just tried to make a song that sounded like it was English, but it wasn't. It was complete gibberish. But they wanted to tap into that English market, you know, even though they didn't speak English at the time. And it was crazy because people just feel music through feeling music. It's like instrumental music. There are no lyrics, but you still feel something. So it's the same thing. You put words or lyrics or a melody or whatever it is in your own language on top of that music, and people will still feel something.
100%.
You know, which is beautiful. I listen to Italian music and I don't understand a lot of Italian. I can speak very little Italian. So I understand some of it, speak some of it, but it's not something that I would, you know, really go into. But there's some Italian music that I'm not understanding what the hell they're saying, but I feel what they're saying. I don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about his dead mother, his ex-girlfriend, you know, his brother. I have no fucking clue. All I know is that I can feel his pain.
Yeah.
You know, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think, even for example, Iceland has produced some wonderful musicians, of course, Björk.
Definitely, yes.
But a lot of, like, you know, Sigur Rós and a lot of artists who sing in Icelandic, and Iceland is smaller than Malta when it comes to the
Literally,
population.
yes.
But they market their artists so well, you know. So, this is a whole... I can go down this rabbit hole and stay there for hours and hours. But yeah, I think, when you're away from Malta, you start appreciating, the culture more. And I went down this rabbit hole last year about like Maltese folk music. And I really, one of my dreams or aims is actually to spend a couple of hours with like a Nana guitarist.
Amazing.
And learn a couple of things. So that's something that I want to do maybe this year.
That's a very good idea. It's kind of keep the energy alive as well. Probably is going to be like some old guy and his kids unlikely play it, you know, like his skill or energy, at least it can live through you, you know, it needs to live through some students for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not something that's being encouraged. I don't know if there's like a program where you can just learn how to play Anna-style guitar. I don't think it's a thing. But honestly, I'm obsessed with Anna-style guitar because it's so cool, man. Like, it's literally like... Anyway, it's like something I'm deeply passionate about.
It's one of a kind. It's
I
definitely
enjoy
one of a kind. And we have a lot of bands here who are trying to have that international sound, which is obviously great. But it's also really nice to see when there are bands here that really keep true to, you know, infiltrating a bit of folk music, infiltrating a bit of Maltese Anna, infiltrating Maltese language, you know, into their songs. And you can really see that the buzz of people, you know, like I'm just going to talk about, for example, Strupau, right? Strupau don't play that often anymore because obviously the band members are kind of spread around the world now and they're obviously older. But whenever they play, Strupau is one of those bands where it's like people go crazy for them because they feel connected to what they're saying because this is like, this represents Maltese people.
Yeah.
You know, you have rock, but then you also have infiltrations of you know, just it feels Maltese, and I think people really appreciate that. And in a world where everyone's trying to be similar to, you know, Americans or whatever, it's nice to then also have something that takes you back to your roots.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's this myth that like if you do that, you don't, you know, make it internationally. But all these artists are literally like showing that it's literally the opposite. Like Rosalia, man, her album was #1 for weeks and weeks and weeks. And she's literally singing in Catalan, in Spanish, and in like 13 other languages, and incorporating flamenco elements and doing all this stuff. And that album, man, it really inspired me a lot as well, because it's like, dude, she literally doesn't give an F, whatever. I don't know, because we're on this podcast.
I've been swearing all day. I haven't even asked actually since we began.
So,
No, I think
too
we
late
got
to go back
zeros.
now.
I think we have a 0 swear word podcast right here. I don't think I heard
really?
any of
Oh,
us
so
swear.
No,
guys, are you
can,
serious?
You can.
I said
There's
like
no rule against
I've
it,
been
but-
saying
she
fucking
did.
shit for like, and
Okay,
that's like the
well.
8th one. Yeah, there you go. It
Fair,
counts.
fair enough.
Dude, yeah, we're way past that
Okay.
line.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, there's no filter to me. What I say, what I feel, I say, and what I say, I feel. So, but that is incredible. I mean, there are artists out there that are really going to inspire you just by the way they dress, the way that they take their roots and infiltrate into new music. And it's incredible. And obviously venues, I feel like are starting to pick up on this whole, you know, we need to bring in new artists. We need to fill up a space with new genres. What's your take on the future of these venues and the future of what venues could be doing to help support artists, and also what venues you guys want to kind of play in the future?
I mean, are you referring to venues in Malta, venues abroad?
In general.
I mean, obviously, you know, it's a bit difficult for venues to survive in the current economic climate, and this is an international problem.
Yeah.
I mean, in Malta, we've seen a lot of beloved venues, you know, go under and disappear. Like when we were growing, like when we started with Cryptic Street, there were so many venues that unfortunately, you know, had to close down. And that fosters a whole ecosystem of bands and, you know, artists and, you know, the communities that support that type of music. And unfortunately, if you don't have anywhere to aim for, you know, like, oh, we have a gig in a venue, it's like it doesn't really encourage the younger people to pick up instruments and form a band. So yeah, I mean, it's difficult to. I mean, I have friends who, you know, work in venues or own venues or are gig promoters, and it's not an easy environment at all at the moment. So there's this. It's a bit of a catch-22 because venues and promoters want to bet on people who are already popular.
Definitely.
Because obviously, you know, they need to make the money.
Yeah. That's a guaranteed crowd right there.
Exactly. So, but obviously, you know, the grassroots venues are important. They're like...
Especially for the underground artists.
Essential, because again, not everyone gets picked up by a major label within the first year or two. You know, if you're lucky enough for that to happen, all well and good. But most people, you know, have to hustle their way through. And, you know, it's a whole ecosystem. It's not like your step to making it or to playing, I don't know, Glastonbury. Some people, you know, it's their livelihood, essentially, the grassroots circuit. So, yeah, I mean, I guess people have to buy tickets to see artists that are
That's
not
a whole other
popular
conversation.
yet.
People don't like buying tickets anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, that links to the whole, you know, economic climate and political climate internationally at the moment, you know, because But yeah, people really need to support the grassroots venues in order for the venues to support artists.
Definitely.
So it's a cycle, you know. I don't blame promoters or venues for not taking a bet on someone they've never heard of. Because, I mean, if they can barely, you know, get through the month, how are they going to support someone? You know what I mean?
100%.
So I think it really relies on, I don't know, governments or bigger structures or sponsors or whatever, like taking a bet and sponsoring or supporting these venues in order for this whole ecosystem to survive.
And what venues are currently on the hit list for Jen?
I mean, I think the Roundhouse in London, I don't know if you know.
Not familiar.
Yeah, but it's a really beautiful venue, and it's been on our list for a while.
Nice.
So yeah, that would be like somewhere that we'd like to potentially headline one day. But I mean, we played a couple of cool venues. Like there's this place in Paris called La Maroquinerie. I didn't do it with the French accent. Maroquinerie. But it's this really cool underground venue that literally looks like a boxing ring.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, we played this venue in Milan called Arcibellezza. It's like an old theater. But I guess, you know, Roundhouse would be one of the top venues.
Nice.
We really want to play Japan someday. That's, I think, a lot of people. We have a couple of listeners from there, so who knows. But yeah, I guess whatever place, you know, wants to welcome us, honestly.
Hell yes. I mean, the Beatles went to Japan or Tokyo, I can't remember. But they went somewhere up there once, and they didn't even know that they had so many fans.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, and then they're kind of like, what the hell? Like, we have a whole fan base here. Like, they had to get extra security. It was crazy. So, you know, you never know. Maybe you go to Japan and you're like...
We made it in Japan and we don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. And there are so many of these bands that they made it in different countries and they have no idea about it, which is crazy to me. And that would be... I think we had this conversation as well with one of the other guests about, you know, making it abroad and not even knowing that you made it.
Just talking about you in some like foreign language on some social media you can't even read.
Maybe we're big in China. I don't know. Who knows?
Perhaps.
They're making edits on Instagram of you, you know, marrying you and these little love notes everywhere and you have no idea.
I mean, I personally would like to play in South Korea because I just love the culture in a way.
Amazing.
But yeah, you know,
well,
whatever.
There's a lot to do with Jen, a lot to do with, I mean, the future, 2026 is a whole new era of music coming. And hopefully we get to keep on listening to and hearing new releases from you guys, new songs, new projects. Hopefully you come down to Malta a couple of times, play some songs for us.
Yeah, hopefully we can do a gig here at some point. I think that would be cool, you know, at some cool place or venue or...
possibly maybe even like a little festival here. That would be a really cool one. No, I think Malta, the scene in Malta at the moment is in dire need of, you know, fresh new music. And that doesn't mean fresh new music from places that aren't Malta only, but also just fresh new music from Maltese artists and Maltese artists that are making it abroad and coming back and bringing back all of their creative juices that they poured into new songs to the island, you know, and showing people like, yo, listen, man, go chase your dreams. This is what might come out of it. So amazing. Well, thank you so much, Janelle, for coming on the last ones. It's been amazing. This has been Janelle from Jen, all the J's and G's. And she's only one part of such a powerful band. And if it wasn't obvious, it's an all-female band. And they are doing amazing. If you're ever in Brighton area, if you're ever in the UK area, get your ass on a train, get your ass on a bus. I don't know what the fuck they use there mostly, probably trains. But, you know,
hit us up.
Exactly. The world is small. The UK is small if you want it to be. So go check them out. And obviously, when they come down to Malta, that would be a really good shout. But hell yes. This has been The Last Ones.